Thank you, Mr. Acting Chairman. Welcome, Ms. Guzman. I enjoyed our conversation yesterday, and I do wish you the best of luck. I think the job will be bigger than the job has ever been in the past. Philosophically, I've been opposed to borrowing such extraordinary amounts of money, and I think it's been a false choice in the sense that we say either the economy collapses in ruin or we bail it out with money that we don't have. There's always been another choice, and that's examining whether or not the economic lockdowns have been beneficial. There's no evidence really that any of the COVID lockdowns have affected the trajectory of the virus. Even President Biden in the last week has admitted as much. The virus is doing what it wants to do regardless of any of our interventions. In fact, there was a Stanford study that looked at 10 different countries and with a variety of economic mandates from very severe to voluntary, and really found no difference in the trajectory of the virus. In fact, if you look at the trajectory of the daily incidence of COVID-positive patients, it's growing exponentially despite any of the mandates that we've put in place. If you look at state to state, between the states that have lax parameters to the states that won't let you go anywhere and have to wear a mask outside, or you can't dine inside or outside, there's really not much difference. In fact, the states with the severest mandates really often have some of the highest incidents. So Florida versus California, the incidence in California on a per person or a per pro rata ratio is actually much higher in California than Florida, despite California having the harshest lockdown. The reason I bring this up is that there has been a choice and still is a choice on how we help business in our country and small businesses. The small businesses have been devastated by government policy, primarily governor's policy, but they have been devastated by these rules. So the choice isn't just shake the free money tree, print up money, and give everybody money or nothing. The other choice would have been, could have been, and still is, let's free these businesses up. Let's get rid of the mandates that are crippling our business. Even with the mandates causing such harm to restaurants and hotel industry and travel industry, overall unemployment actually in Kentucky is actually lower than it was in 7 of the 8 years of President Obama's 2 administrations. So I think we do need to put things in perspective, and those who say this is an existential thing and we just got to borrow whatever and the debt be damned and we just have to do whatever and not worry about the consequences of the future, I think we do. Lord Maynard Keynes was sort of one of the early promoters and most prominent promoters of the free money stimulus, government stimulus, where we borrow money and pass it out. He was asked, well, you know, it seems to work in the short run, but what about the long term? And his response was, well, in the long term, we'll all be dead anyway. And I think that's sort of a callous way to look at the future of our country and not worry about what we're doing to the currency and what we're doing to the underpinnings of our economy by borrowing so much money. So I think we should keep that in perspective in the debate that we continue to have in Washington over what's best to be done. The programs that that have been put out before us, PPP and the others that are, many of them gradually being shifted from being loans to grants, I think actually gives more incentive for more corruption to happen. We are already finding people who bought expensive luxury cars, Lamborghinis, things like that with their PPP money. Some of them are being caught. The more of these loans that are turned into grants and have less oversight and the people have to less verification of what they've done with the money, the more corruption we'll get. So I would argue that within the parameters of the law that you will have to obey the law, but let's try not to expand and use any authority as the administrator to try to convert things from actually having oversight, such as loans, to things that have no oversight. Now, Congress has changed some of these parameters, and we'll live with that, but I really do fear that a lot of corruption is going to happen, and more corruption will happen as more of this is turned into grants. So as we move forward, Mr. Chairman, I think it's important that we continue to have a debate over what works and what doesn't work. And the virus has been devastating in many ways to so many people. You know, I have friends who have died from the virus. I have friends who are currently sick with it. But simply saying, oh, we must do things when there's no evidence that these things are working, I think it's important that we reevaluate them and we reevaluate whether or not giving monies to states actually encourages them to open the economy or discourages them from opening the economy. I, for one, think that the only thing that will change the trajectory of this is the vaccine, and I look forward to the time when we get the vaccine out to more people. The states that are utilizing private entities to help them get it out are doing better. Florida, they're using Publix pharmacies. I would suggest that we need to very rapidly gear this thing up. In my home state, if you call the public health department, you want a vaccine, you'll get a 20-minute message. You'll be unlikely to find a person, and the first thing they tell you on the message is, oh, if you know somebody not wearing their mask, let us know their name so we can get the police go talk to them. Nowhere on the machine or on the public health website is any place where you can sign up for a vaccine. You know, I would think what we should be doing is having large sign-up sheets with your name, your age, and trying to get people on a list where we can call them in to get the vaccine instead of being so intent on trying to punish or harass people that you don't think are adhering to whatever mandates that really don't seem to be appearing to change the trajectory of the virus. So I think we continue to have this debate. I hope you will work very hard. I'm hopeful that you will try to oversee these administration of these loans without letting them get out of hand, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.